They killed the king. That was the easy part. The hard part was killing the truth. The man behind it wasn't a rebel. He was the one who put the king on the throne. Years earlier, the state of Qi had been on the edge of collapse. Succession had turned into violence. Factions fought for control, and legitimacy was decided by force. Cui Zhu chose his moment. He moved quickly. He eliminated rivals. He crushed opposition. And he brought Prince Guang back from exile. Then he crowned him king. From that moment on, Cui Zhu was no ordinary minister. He commanded the army. He controlled appointments. He decided who rose and who fell. His household alone held hundreds of armed men. His influence reached beyond the court, beyond the capital itself. Over time, something shifted. The king ruled, but Cui Zhu made sure the kingdom functioned. At first, the arrangement worked. The king rewarded him generously. Land, authority, autonomy. Cui Zhu governed the state, led campaigns, expanded territory. Qi grew stronger, more stable, more feared. Outwardly, it looked like harmony. But power rarely shares space for long, and sometimes it breaks over something small, something private. King Zhuang of Qi had a weakness. He desired what he should not have. Cui Zhu's wife. When it began quietly, the king would visit Cui Zhu's residence under polite excuses, checking on his health, discussing affairs. But Cui Zhu was often ill, and the king would not remain in the outer halls. He would go further, into the inner rooms. This was not an official visit, which meant he couldn't arrive like a king. No procession, no banners, no full guard, only a small escort. And sometimes when he reached the gates, even those few guards were told to wait outside. He didn't insist. He didn't question it, because this had to remain hidden. A king sneaking into his own minister's house. To protect his secret, he abandoned his protection. Inside, the lines blurred. The king drank there, laughed there, stayed longer than he should. He treated the residence like a place that belonged to him. At times, even objects from Cui Zhu's household were taken and casually given away to others, as if they meant nothing. Not because they were valuable, but because power made them disposable. What should have been private became public. What should have been respected was treated as nothing. So Cui Zhu knew. He saw everything. He said nothing. He did not confront the king. He did not argue. But something changed. Behind the walls of his residence, preparations began. Soldiers were stationed quietly. Weapons were placed within reach. Movements were watched. Every visit, every habit, every moment of carelessness. And this was not anger. This was patience. For a long time, nothing happened. The king continued to come and go as he pleased. The visits became routine, predictable, almost careless. And that was exactly what Cui Zhu needed. Not a single mistake, but a pattern. Something that could be anticipated. Something that could be controlled. Because the most dangerous trap is not the one that surprises you. It's the one you walk into again and again until you stop noticing it. The opportunity came in the summer of 548 BC. An envoy from the state of Zhu arrived. A formal reception was arranged near the northern gate of the capital, close to Cui Zhu's residence. Cui Zhu claimed illness and stayed home. The king attended the ceremony, but he did not stay long. He left early, drove straight to Cui Zhu's residence, just as expected. At the gate, he was received politely. Nothing unusual. His attendants were stopped, asked to remain outside. The king entered, alone. For a brief moment, there was silence. Inside the gates, emptiness. Outside, his guards separated. The danger was not outside. It was already within. Inside, everything seemed ordinary. He was welcomed, led inside, offered wine. Time passed. Then she left the room, a simple excuse. And then, 3 sharp strikes of a bell echoed through the hall. The trap closed. Men emerged from every direction, from behind curtains, from side passages, from hidden spaces. Weapons drawn, no hesitation. The king reached for his sword. Too late. He tried to run. Too slow. A strike to the side, another to the back. He staggered toward the wall, trying to climb, trying to escape. A spear drove through his body and pinned him in place. Outside, his guards heard the chaos. They rushed the gates. They shouted. They tried to break in, but the doors were sealed. Arrows fell from above. They collapsed before they could reach him. The king died inside his minister's house, not in battle, not in war, but in a place he chose to enter. His body was dragged outside the city, left exposed, unburied, as a warning. The killing was done, but the problem had just begun. Because killing a king changes power, but writing it down defines history. Cui Zhu summoned the court historian. The instruction was simple. The record would say, the king died of illness, nothing more. With a historian sat down, he picked up his brush and dipped it in ink. Then he wrote, in the 5th month, on the day of Yihai, Cui Zhu murdered his lord Guang. Cui Zhu had him executed. The next historian came. He wrote the same, executed. A third, the same, executed, one after another. The words did not change. Finally, a 4th historian was brought in. Cui Zhu spoke to him directly. Every man who held this position before you is dead. Write differently, and you will live. The man sat down, calmly, without hesitation. A historian's duty is to record what is done, he said. To hide it is to abandon that duty. He picked up the brush, dipped it in ink, and wrote the same words. Again. Cui Zhu stood there, watching, reading, and for the first time, he did nothing. At that same moment, another historian from a distant region had already set out, carrying his writing tablets, prepared to record the truth if all others had failed. He was already on his way. That was the moment Cui Zhu understood. He could kill the king. He could kill the men who wrote it, but he could not kill what would be remembered. Power can decide what happens, but not what is known. And in the end, it was not the king who defined the story, nor the man who killed him. It was the ones who wrote it down, because some things cannot be erased. If you want to hear more strange but true stories from Chinese history, subscribe to Imperial Absurdity.